Hey guys, Shop here. In League of Legends, there are tons of interesting champions with loads of catchy dialogue choices. Some are iconic, some inspirational, and others are just downright weird.
Who let the dogs out? Woof, woof, woof.
Today we're going to look at some of the educational quotes stuff champions say that can help you become a better League player. The first quote comes from Akali.
Hesitation is the seed of defeat.
I'm sure when seeing the title of this video, this quote would have sprung instantly to mind, and for good reason. Not hesitating and instead playing with conviction is a great way to be ensuring plays go in your favour. The reason for this is because even if you make a poor decision, you still stand a good chance of coming out on top, or at the very least getting something out of it. If you also make the correct decision, then if you play with conviction, you'll absolutely crush your enemies. Being flaky and not having complete faith in your own decisions is a recipe for disaster. You'll never take away a significant reward from any good plays, and your bad plays will still just be bad plays. Very often when lower elo players come to me and say they struggle to close out games, and I take a look at their games, this is the biggest mistake that I'll be seeing. The next quote comes from Karthus.
Death is a song all will hear.
More than just a thematic taunt from the Reaper himself, this quote can be used to help you understand and accept the inevitability of failures when playing League. You will never play a game where you did absolutely nothing wrong. You will have games where you'll play poorly and things don't go your way. You will have games where you lose through no real fault of your own. It is absolutely crucial to not put yourself down when this happens, to look at the bigger picture and, most importantly, to take every experience as an opportunity to learn and improve. And this leads us nicely onto our next quote from everyone's favourite bitch bag.
Learn from your mistakes.
From her story, this quote is intended as Riven's remorse for being used as a weapon of Noxus to massacre the kingdom of Ionia. Less heroically for us, it simply means what it says, but hey, that's so cliche, it belongs in a Disney film and it's been done to death in these kind of videos. So, move on to the next one and put these terrible cliches behind us. So next up we have Mr. Briggs.
Who wants a piece of the champ?
Now this one is a bit of an opinion, so feel free to disagree with me, but playing with confidence and believing you're better than your opponents is a great way to be playing at your best at all times. By knowing that you can beat your opponents and not giving them too much unnecessary respect that can lead to overly passive play, you're already halfway to actually beating them. That is simple sports psychology, however it is important that you do not mistake confidence for arrogance, as that can lead to negatives as well. And similar to the last quote, there's this one from Annie.
Don't be a scaredy cat!
Now this is another one which is more like my opinion, how playing passive is a poor way to be approaching solo queue. Probably one of the biggest things I see lower elo players doing is not going aggressive at key times, instead opting to run away. Of course, it's not a good idea to be fighting and going balls deep 24/7, however being too passive will lead to having poor lane mechanics and not knowing when to trade, also having poor team fighting due to a hesitation with your initiation, and finally an inability to come back from deficits. The reason why it can be quite hard to come back in games if you're being too scared is because there's no real way to win from behind without taking some of those risks. Of course, there's also the added benefit of forcing yourself onto your opponent, but I've done a whole other video on that topic, which you can watch here. This next quote is from Xerath.
Emotions are only distractions.
Some of you may argue this point and say that not every emotion is a hindrance, and whereas that's certainly true, I also think it's fair to say that the most acted upon emotions in this game are of the deconstructive variety. Acting on your emotions prevents you from playing with a clear head and making the best moves and decisions. Whether that's emotions carried from outside the game or inside, it doesn't really matter. And if you are the type of person who is struggling to contain their rage when they're playing and being overcome by those emotions, I have dedicated a whole video to help you out. And finally, the last quote I want to talk about today is from Aatrox.
Even those who have nothing can give their lives.
Now you may be wondering what on earth is going on by me including this quote to this list, but this does detail quite nicely how to play and be useful when you're having a bad game. Have you ever played a game where things just aren't going away and just said to yourself, holy crap, I am so useless right now? If so, then this quote can help you play those fights as a weaker member of the team. You can be a bodyguard for your stronger teammates, or even just distract the more powerful enemies to keep them off your allies. The point is that dying isn't necessarily a bad thing, and you being expendable isn't a shame. Hell, even if you're playing AD carry and you can't do too much except from dying, it's not really that big of a deal as long as your mid laner can come along and mop everything up. Of course, when you're behind, you probably want to be avoiding fighting as much as you can, but if you have to do it, then don't be afraid to get down and be that noble sacrifice. But that's all I want to say on this topic, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to me for more educational content with a bit of entertaining stuff on the side as well.
Shreema.
You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, and catch me streaming on Twitch too. But most importantly, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you in my next video.